20 seconds and then it went on.
Good?
You were good.
Okay. I call to order the regular meeting of the East Haddam Inland Wetlands and Watercourses Commission on this Tuesday, February 20th, 2024 at 7:30 p.m. Jim, would you call attendance, please?
Randolph Dill,
Here.
Mary Augustini absent, Brian Goff,
Present.
Daniel Janey,
Here.
Jennifer Burton Reeve absent, and David Walls absent.
Minutes of the last meeting is December 19th. We did not have a meeting in January due to weather. So the December 19th, 2023 is the last minutes that we have. If you've had a chance to read them over, any comments, changes, corrections?
Nothing here. No.
I had one question. Under field inspection report, the only thing mentioned was the visit that Jim, you and I made to the Hop Yard golf course. Mm-hmm. Wasn't there another
Nope.
field inspection?
We didn't
that
that
I didn't
month.
attend.
Huh?
That I didn't attend.
That was the previous month, I think.
Was it?
In November.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yep.
My bad.
Motion to approve the December 19th, 2023 meetings as presented. Second.
Motion and second. Any discussion? Not all in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. I did not have any bills in my package.
Nope.
There are none. A field inspection report. We did a field inspection on Sunday, February 11th, 2024. In attendance for the field inspection with myself, Mary Augustini, David Walls, and Jim Ventris. The 6 sites we visited, number 1 was at 191 East Shore Drive. This is on Lake Hayward. The second one was at Banning Road, Richard Lagacy property. Third was at 42 Hemlock Valley Road, property owners Paul and Lisa Newton. The fourth was at 8 Shore Drive, Upper Moodus Reservoir, property of Ed Veslock. Fifth was at 251 East Haddam Colchester Turnpike, Lower Moodus Reservoir, property of Jason DiMartino. And the last visit we made was at 423 East Haddam Moodus Road at the Brownell properties. And that was for relocating or locating a driveway. So just those 6. Wetlands review, item A, W22-19, East Shore Drive, property location. This is the town of East Haddam, the applicant and property owner, for a proposed culvert replacement.
I asked Charlie Dutch last week to address the comments from Brian Curtis and then, give us a finalized map so we can work off of those.
Okay.
So he said, he said he'd get on to it.
So that's all going to be redone. I mean,
They were minor revisions to the mapping. I mean, most of the comments that Brian had were the watershed calculations are correct, this is correct, this is correct, this is correct. His biggest problem Brian had with it was he didn't understand at the time that we actually have a 15-foot constraint to construct it because the road itself is only 15 feet. So that kind of took a page of comments and, made it into moot point. So I said, Charlie, just address them all and then go from that. The biggest one that I had a concern was the, elevation of the bottom of it and how it's going to work with the flows and those sort of things. But it's not a fisheries issue. Brian also asked that question, is it intermittent or is it?
so just hold me a minute. I'm a little confused. Blew out twice or just the first time?
No, it didn't blow out the first time. It blew out in the last 5-inch storm. So as an emergency repair, they put a pipe in there.
A new pipe.
New pipe, but
Sized correctly.
no, it's because you need 2 of those.
Gotcha. All right.
And he's calling for 2 of them in a box culvert versus those pipes so that they can handle the flows better. So it's, it's a major project to do it right because the watershed's so big.
So they've got a lot more work to do there.
The engineering isn't, but the work is.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah, yes.
What run did they expect to get that high up?
Hmm?
What fish run did they expect to get that high up?
They didn't know, they just asked the question. You know, they didn't go out on site, they just saw it and they just said, is there? And, you know, no, it goes bone dry and it isn't.
All right, so this is, needs to be continued. I'll make a motion to continue this to our next meeting.
Second?
Motion and second, any discussion? None? All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Item B, W24-01, this is at H8 Shore Drive, Upper Moodus Reservoir. Property is the property location. Mr. Edward J. Veslok Jr. is the applicant and property owner, map 067, lot 069. And this is a proposal to rebuild existing retaining wall.
Correct.
So, Ed, if you wouldn't mind, just bring us up to speed. I know we were out there, we saw what you wanted to do. It's consistent with your neighbor there,
Right,
what he's doing.
Right, Ernie's doing it, he's gonna do mine.
So just describe it for the record, if you wouldn't mind.
He's taking and removing the old timbers that are in there, wood rotten timbers, and he's gonna replace it with the granite stone, and he's gonna step it back and cap it.
Okay, so basically, he's gonna replace what's there,
What's
not going
there.
any further into the lake.
No, he's gonna just kind of stay in line with Mark, so it all looks nice.
And it's gonna be from property line to property line.
Property line to property line, right.
Okay. Approximately how high?
It's probably 2.5 to 3 feet,
Okay.
more or less. But when he puts the footing in, because I'm watching what he's doing over the marks, he digs down a little bit to set it, you know, so it's not just sitting on something.
And I think you told us you plan to put some steps up midway.
Right, yeah, there's steps on mine. Actually, they're gonna be slab steps.
Okay.
They're like, I think 4 feet, 5 feet, whatever. I have to slip it home. It's all gonna be solid granite.
Do you have a sketch of any of this?
So he submitted a sketch of the shoreline and then we've been using this drywall construction diagram.
Okay.
And kind of Ernie and I, you know, talked about it and he said, you know, it's a typical diagram, but it is exactly what he's doing. Putting the footing in, stacking the stones, slightly pitching them back so that it's all drywall construction. And,
And I think that there should have, and you probably know this, Ed, the distance from property line to property line. In other words, this would be the length of the wall.
Right, yes, yeah.
What is the distance of the wall?
It's
It's out
like
here.
60 feet.
60. Is that in this?
I can print out the assessor's map for it and add it to the file.
All right.
Do you have photos, Jim?
No.
Probably should go out and get some pictures before and after. Oh, yes.
Well, we were out there, so it was kind of good because we saw the neighbors we just approved the neighbor last month or the month before. So you can kind of see here's how it's starting and where it continues. But yeah, we can get photos for the
And
finish.
when did you plan on doing this? Is he just gonna continue right across from your
Yeah,
neighbor?
tomorrow.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then maybe you can fill in the holes here. Would you mind taking a photograph when it's all done?
Oh, yeah, no
And
problem.
submit them to Jim?
Yeah,
So
when
we-
it's done, yeah. No, he started there, and I left him dump the stone in my yard, because he had a patio and that, so to get around, so I let Bernie do it, and he's just coming over there and bringing it over there and dropping it down on his beach.
All right, good.
Yeah, so it'll be, you know, I wanna make it nice.
Yeah.
So it's good. And it's however the line is, he's gonna stay on that.
Good.
I'm just removing the rotten stuff out there, because you don't wanna leave that there, because then guess what, you're gonna have pockets behind it.
Right. Okay.
Probably fill it with some gravel, loamy gravel or something,
Yeah, you might,
whatever the difference is.
is he using filter fabric behind the stone, do you know?
I don't know, he hasn't done that yet.
It's in the drawing, right, Jim?
It is on this drawing, yes.
All right, then that.
So,
That makes
do it the
sense.
same way. Okay.
Yeah.
Questions? Can I have a motion? This is the second time on the agenda, so.
Sure, I'll move unless Dave has step on. I move we approve the application, let's see, for 8 Shore Drive, Upper Moodus Reservoir. Mr. Edward Vessel, is it Veselak?
Yes.
Jr., map 67, lot 69, for the rebuilding of an existing retaining wall in accordance with the drawings submitted. The date of, I assume today, Jim, you're gonna put on there?
Today.
All right, 2/20.
I'll second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. Good to go. Thank you. Item C, this is W24-02. This is at 7 Banning Road. Richard Legacy is the applicant and property owner, map 003, lot 042. And this is for a proposed pond for fish and recreation.
So this is the first meeting on the agenda. I mailed to him some planting guides, because that was kind of the discussion too, is that once the pond's finished, what he's gonna do, and he said he'd take whatever recommendations we had, so I mailed him that and a map with some topography on it. And talked to him today and said, you don't have to be here tonight, but, you know, come at the next meeting after you reviewed the plantings. Figure out what, you know, works best for what you wanna do.
You know, one of the things that we talked about in the field, I don't think he was real clear about it, was it was gonna be a dugout pond.
Yep.
Without a dike or an impoundment or dam, which
Correct.
puts it into a different realm.
Yep. Yeah, and he also, I've told him I was gonna get him some spillway diagrams, so he could add it as part of it.
Yeah.
Because you still have to have something for overflow.
Right, yeah, there wasn't a washout.
But he was gonna talk to his contractor about that too, because he clearly said that was up to the contractor,
Okay.
you know.
What's he putting in it? Bass?
Yeah, he's gonna be,
It's for the kids.
the kids, yeah, you know, they, you know, he kinda opened his mouth and now he has to do it. And so, it's a small pond, but it's, you know, he said, I think I can get sunfish and bass in it,
One thing we
and
didn't,
skating.
one thing we didn't ask him was, what's he gonna do with the spoils?
He actually did say that he wanted to bring them towards the road, Town Street, past the wetlands, and spread them out, behind where he has those trees planted along the road. He actually had it on a diagram.
Driveway?
No, if the driveway's on this side and Banning Road's on this side and Route 82, he was gonna bring it up to Route 82 and spread it out and then reseed it.
Cause he's got those 2 watercourses.
Yeah,
We're gonna
you
feed
got
into
one on this side and one on that side. He's got it, on his diagram, he's got it in between.
All right, so he's got some kind of diagram.
Yeah.
All right,
Yeah.
good. All right, I'll make a motion to continue this to our next meeting since we can't deal with it today.
Second?
Motion on the second, discussion? None, all in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, say no. Thank you. Item D, W24-04, this is at East Haddam Colchester Turnpike. This is on the lower Nudist Reservoir. Property of Jason DiMartino, map 066, lot 290, and this is for a proposed dock.
Pass these down. Who's talking?
Now, Jim, this, just refresh my memory, this is the one, we took a walk down, this is a shared property
Correct.
between 3 property owners, if I'm not mistaken.
3 property owners.
Jason here?
I'm his wife, I'm also concerned, so on this property.
Would you mind, just for the record, just explaining what you're doing, why you're doing it?
Okay, so we want to do some, there's a steep bank, about 10 feet tall, do some steps going down, and then a boardwalk that gets us to the water, because it's all like muck, and then a dock coming off that.
One of the questions I had, since this is a shared property, so everybody has access to the lake,
Yeah.
there are already a number of docks there.
There's one dock.
There's one dock. Okay, I mean, there was a lot of stuff down there, so
Yeah, that's what my neighbors
we
said.
figured it all out.
Yeah, one dock.
So I gather that because you're separate people, you can't come to some sort of a agreement to put one dock out? I'm just asking the question.
We haven't always gotten along with the neighbors, and I think everyone kind of would like to have their stuff separated out.
Does everyone of the three property owners, does everyone access their part of the beach or the shoreline separately, different access ways?
The two other neighbors are related, so they kind of share the same area where the dock is.
All right. And the reason you want this dock is, I saw a lot of boats down there, mostly kayaks.
Yeah, we have a 18-foot boat, wasn't in the water this year, but in part because it's a pain to get to it. And we kayak and things like that.
Did you say 18 feet?
Yeah,
So it's a motorboat?
yeah.
Do you know, this is going out 16 feet into the water, right?
Yeah.
Will the depth of water support
Yes.
the boat that size?
Yeah, because we used to have it moored, so I know that we can, do that.
Okay, so you won't have a problem getting in and out of the dock.
Where's the other dock on this drawing?
It would be,
It'll be way over here,
yeah,
over in this area.
you have the water to the left.
This whole area here, I mean, there are boats, canoes, kayaks, or I should say kayaks mostly, and there might be a canoe in there, I don't remember. But clearly a lot of activity down there. You also want to do a boardwalk, and that's because,
It's all mud and muck. So, keep my feet from sinking into the ground just to get to the dock,
okay. Is there any,
Fairly steep.
yeah, is there
Yeah.
any concern, have you had any issues with erosion where you access the shoreline
No,
frequently?
no, I wouldn't say so.
Okay. And as far as you know, the other property owners, I didn't see any, but I didn't know if there's any possibility that you get a lot more activity, that you might see a lot more, or some erosion.
Well, I mean, that's in part why the boardwalk, that way you're not
Yep.
trudging through it constantly.
Yeah, I'm not concerned about that, because
Yeah, yeah.
that's flat, it's
Yeah.
the steep incline to get down to the lake.
I mean, now we just walk and kind of get muddy getting to the water. So, I don't know that it'll be that much more use.
Okay.
So this is a permanent dock, it won't get taken out in the winter
It
time?
won't get taken out.
Just slope it.
Pressure treated?
No, it's steel.
Steel dock, okay.
Is it on floats, or it has,
Wow.
It sits on, it's not on.
They got in the package, there's the corkscrew posts.
oh, I see, so it's those metal,
Pylons kind of screw in.
yeah.
Yep.
We've seen those before.
Yeah. The one thing that was missing, you've got the length of it, but the width,
Of the dock,
yeah,
it's 5 feet.
5 feet.
I'm noticing a silt fence.
Yeah, I didn't know where the water would be because I know we're, drawing down. So basically, at the edge of the water is where we put the silt fence, or wherever you tell me to put it.
Why would you use a silt fence?
Well, mostly for doing the stairs,
Because they're gonna be a little bit of digging out to square it off to put the steps in.
Oh, okay. So, all right. I guess I'm looking at it, it's right around the
Yeah,
dock, so I'm
like I said,
thinking, why, it's in the water, why would you do that?
Well, I was thinking the water wouldn't be right there with the drawdown.
Right.
You're digging away the hillside where the word boardwalk is, essentially, to put that in, correct?
Where the stairs are.
Okay, you're gonna dig away at the stairs. Yeah, you may wanna consider relocating that silt fence
Yeah.
just along the edge of the water there. I mean, you could put it out that far, but it's not gonna, depending on the drawdown. If your intent is to stop that material from getting into the lake, and you can bring that uphill, so long as you're below the area you're disturbing, and you should be fine.
Okay.
When were you thinking of doing this?
Well, as soon as.
Up to us, right?
Yeah, basically.
This is the first time you're on our agenda, and we
Yeah.
can't take action this
Right.
time. Jim probably already explained that to you, so. I think the information you've given us is pretty helpful. So, unless there's any more questions that you guys have.
What were the stairs gonna be made from?
Like a timber and.
So
stone.
wood,
Yeah.
okay.
And this is hand construction, or are you gonna use any machinery?
I believe hand construction.
Yeah, with that slope, you probably wouldn't be able to get machinery in there anyway. Okay.
All right.
No, I'm good.
Okay. That said, I'll make a motion to continue this to our next meeting, where we can take action on it.
Second.
Okay. Motion and second. Any further discussion? All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Item E, W 24-05, this is at 423 East Haddam Ludus Road. This is Brownell Properties, applicant and property owner, map 064, lot 049. And this is for proposed excavating and construction of a driveway. He did a sketch.
Yeah, a little better than the last one. You want a little presentation tonight, or you want it next month?
If
No,
you-
you can do it, and, you know, if there, after we've had a chance to look at this, if we have any other questions, do it then. Otherwise, it would be pretty simple for the next meeting.
What's your name?
David Rollinson,
R-O.
ERLANDSON.
Thank you.
You wanna, like, bring it over there when it's a little
Dave,
closer?
would you mind just bringing it over this way on this side?
Sorry. I good?
I know what upside down is sideways, so I gave him the map,
Yeah,
so.
that's right there. Perfect.
All right, I am David Erlinson. I'm a professional engineer licensed in Connecticut. I'm one of the co-owners of this property. One of the co-owners of this property, owned by Brownell Properties LLC, here tonight seeking a wetlands permit to construct a driveway and a parking area within a regulated area. This map here is a 60 scale map, 1 inch equals 60 feet. North is pointing up at the ceiling. The parcel is located at 423 East Haddam Ludus Road. This right here is East Haddam Ludus Road, or Route 149. So we're in here, this is Plains Road, Town Hall down here, 7-Eleven, the gas station that's abandoned. Historically, this property is known as Brownell. The property was developed between 1825 and the 1970s by Brownell and Company for the purpose of operating their twine manufacturing business. Until our purchase 2 years ago, the building was totally approximately 80,000 square feet and completely occupied by Brownell. Because it was completely occupied by Brownell, they were able to access one side of the building outside and then work within the entire building from the inside. After 2 years of marketing large spaces, such as 18,000 square feet, 11,000, 15,000 square feet, we're realizing that pulling renters in to these big spaces is very difficult in Moodus. So what we're gonna try to do is access the other section of the building from the outside. Doing so would require building this driveway and parking area. It would It would begin right here at the corner of the original mill building, which is paved. It would extend down a grade and level out at the bottom. To do this, we would have to eliminate a man-made sluiceway, which extends actually all the way from the river down to this point at the old mill building. We would be eliminating that sluiceway back to this point.
Can I interrupt you for a second, Dave?
Yeah.
Just, you guys did not see this, you weren't on the field walk.
We've seen it before, though. They've done a couple of things there. Back in the back
Okay.
pond in the back, the fire pond, and
Yeah.
then they took out a portion of a building, so pretty familiar with the site.
The reason that sluiceway is there is because when Brownell owned this, if you go back far enough, they were drawing water from Moodus Reservoir, mostly during the summer, which is why the lake would be completely drained by the end of fall. And that would feed, that sluiceway would feed a turbine in that building right there. And that pretty much powered the whole factory. So it's the sluiceway that needs to go away.
So the
But that
sluice-
sluiceway hasn't been used, and it does not
No.
use, and it's dry.
It hasn't been used since essentially power was provided to the building. Because of erosion in this area, it does pond because it can't escape. So for a good part of the year, there's approximately a foot and a half of water in it. During the summer, it dries up completely. When it does have water in it, it's typically black. There's no wetland vegetation or anything in there. It's essentially had no purpose since the building got power. I provided you, we had the site walk and I was asked to provide a couple things. When the original plan was submitted, I did not have any topography or anything. I did kind of field verify that what we wanted to do would work, but since then I acquired topography from the state of Connecticut website. Kind of drafted on the parking area, showed the grades. The grades extending down the hill past the mill would be about 6%. Once you get down to the bottom, the driveway would grade away from the building about 10 or 12 feet and then back up, so downhill away from the building slightly, 6 inches, and then back up to the edge out here. The grading all fits in there very nicely. We'd be constructing a small berm at this extent right here so that we weren't taking any water that is in this existing sluiceway that remains.
Yeah, one of the things in the field, just don't mind me bringing it up, there is water coming from the state highway down the bank, but it's farther that way, away from the area that he wants to do the work in.
You say that way, like down toward EB, toward the bottom of the hill?
Yeah, the opposite direction.
So Falls Road has drainage and drainage easements across the, I guess they would be state-owned drainage easements across the town property.
Yep.
And Mr. Ventris provided me with a map of that. I drafted them onto this. So there's catch basins in Route 149 up here, which drain down into that sluiceway. The berm which we will be providing will be to the west of the westerlymost one. And anything that ends up in this sluiceway to remain drains out over here, or in this area about 100 feet from that building, there's actually a conduit.
Can you talk a little bit about what specifically you're gonna do to that sluiceway, the section you're gonna modify?
So if you look at the profile that I provided you, we're essentially gonna remove it for the length of the building. The dashed line is the existing grade.
Yep.
Goes up about 10 feet above the floor of the building and then comes back down about 6 feet. The difference in elevation between the bottom of the spillway and our floor is about 5 or 6 feet.
How about when you fill that? I'm just more curious than anything else. How does that, and I see that you wanna subdivide and allow smaller spaces. How does that elimination of the sluiceway allow you to access the building better? I'm not sure I get that.
Okay, so right now, see all this, the stuff I kinda colored gray?
Yeah.
That's the access to the building and around the building right now. This 11,000 square foot portion of the building has always just been accessed through the building. So if, say we rent this 18,000 square foot block here,
You have to go through that to
now you
get
have
the-
to provide somebody access to this, you have to go through their space.
Okay,
Even at that, access into the other parts of the building are difficult. It was all loading ramps actually to begin with, so there had to be some modifications just to get in at all. But this will provide access back into this corner.
okay.
What's the total area of that building, if you know?
Total area.
Total area of the building, footprint, usable space.
So this building has just over 70,000 square feet. There's a 5,000 square foot office building in the front, which is brick. And then the old mill building might total around 5,000. So all buildings included, it's just around 80,000.
And the bottom line is you can't find anybody who's gonna rent 70,000 square feet.
It's difficult to even find people for 10,000 square feet.
Okay.
So our initial thought was, you know, this 30,000 square feet across the back, it'd be great to find one manufacturer. The building's set up with big power and everything. And we've been on a 2-year search and it just doesn't happen. So we need to start breaking down spaces if we ever wanna occupy it.
Maybe it's in here, Dave, are you gonna asphalt this driveway?
I haven't proposed that. We've got hundreds of thousands of dollars to spend on this building, other than this project. I didn't wanna propose it and then not finish it correctly. So as of right now, I was kind of proposing that it would be a processed aggregate base over gravel.
Okay.
If you thought it needed to be paved for erosion purposes or something, then
Jim, this isn't a planning and zoning thing, is it?
Well, if it's not gonna exceed 8%, right, the access in?
no, it would be 6% coming down and 3% in the parking.
So it doesn't have to be.
It doesn't have to be, and you know, it's you know, whether it's the aggregate or millings or stuff like that, I mean, it's not a high traffic area if it's, you know, just for employees and things like that, it's not.
I suppose if I wasn't gonna be held to it, I would say yes, pave it, that way we're approved for more than I actually did.
I mean, it's all pitched to go to the west, and there's a drain there.
Yeah, there's 3 catch
Existing.
basins that exist already.
So any runoff that comes from,
So there'll be a watershed in this area that drains down across this.
right.
And it will get picked up by these 3 catch basins.
Okay, so there's no reason to swale between the slope and the driveway?
No, it'll literally all run straight down. Those basins are already about 10 feet off the building.
Yep.
That'll be the low point. It also slopes slightly in this direction.
Okay, all right.
Is there any concerns with erosion to the property, either the adjacent property or the site property to the east with the steep slope?
No, we're the bottom of the hill. So it's,
But you're cutting into the bank to create the grade,
yeah,
and, well, I guess most of the cut is gonna be at the bottom where the parking lot is?
yeah, so there's a house here on the corner. I guess it's not a corner, I call it a corner. There's a house here. Their backyard, we'll be doing very minimal grading through that area. The most grading we'll be doing over here, and if you look at that profile, it's really only about 5 or 6 feet. It'll be right now it's steeper than 2 to 1, the existing grades out there. We'll be blending into it at a 2 to 1 slope, so we'll be less steep than the the extent of
What's
where we
going
are.
on?
Probably somewhere in here, you've got a seeding plan, planting plan to stabilize that slope.
I didn't provide it, I can, on the construction schedule, they did have, something about it.
Yeah, if you don't, just,
Yeah, if I don't, I can provide it.
yeah, you could put something in. Yeah, there is a, yeah, it said stabilize, so, maybe just add
If
to
we
that.
need to
How you
put
gonna
blankets on
stabilize?
it, we'll put blankets on it, if we can get seed growing quickly and not need blankets, then that's what we'll do.
So where you exit the cut of removing the existing sluiceway, where the contact is, that the portion that remains are you gonna just fill it in, or how are you gonna keep the water from trying to get onto the property?
So right here, at the very end of where we're gonna be excavating, we're gonna do a berm, which would be about, what do I have, 149 would be the top, and the bottom is of spillway is 143.6. So it'd be like a 5-foot, 6-foot berm,
Oh, I see, it's up
Right on the
over
corner
in
there.
here, okay.
and that will just prevent, again, any runoff that comes in here has an exit.
So there's there's a conduit that it just isn't shown on the plan that comes off
There-
this somewhere?
The conduit is actually, it's down, if you come off that face there, 100 feet, it's right about that point.
Okay, so it has a place to go.
Yes. And then farther down, there's a secondary one.
All right. All right, anything else?
Good.
Dan?
No.
Good. Since this is the first time, Dave, on our agenda, to continue it to the next meeting, but that is very helpful, appreciate it. I'll make a motion that we continue this application till our next meeting.
Second?
Motion and a second, any discussion? None, all in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, say no. Okay. Item F, W 24-06, this is at 74 Smith Road, cottage number 35. The applicant and property owner is Mary Naluski, map 049, lot 071. This is for a proposed deck.
This is part of Wildwood. Wildwood locks their gates, so you can't get to it.
That's why we didn't go.
And that's why we didn't go, because we weren't walking all the way to the end. She's good till April. We'll put it as part of our April field walk and walk down there. It's a deck on an existing cottage. She can't work on it until the gates are unlocked. They just don't want damage to their gravel road. They get it crowned and straightened out in the fall, and they tell everybody to stay off of it. So it applies to everybody except the fire department, and the fire department could just kind of run through the gates.
Have they provided any sort of sketch? Or
Yeah, they did. And I'll hand out. It's a very basic sketch in the backside.
All right. All right, I'll make a motion that we continue this to the next meeting and also add it to our field walk for the next meeting.
Second.
Motion and second, discussion. None, all in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, say no. Item G, W 24-07, is at 191 East Shore Drive on Lake Hayward. David Blumenkrantz and Luann Virgil. The property owners, map 080, lot 396, and this is for a proposed removal of a structure and rebuild a single-family home.
So Fern Tremblay from Angus McDonald and Gary Sharp Associates dropped off a revised site plan and architecturals of the building. But this is obviously, there are 3 in there? Yeah. This is our
Actually, there's more than that.
4. Okay. So they revised it to show that the gutters go where it is. The only thing that he has to do is talk to the client, which I told him to bring for the next meeting, was the planting plans that we recommended along the stream and along the lake to incorporate it. And the building does go all 4 directions with roof pitches. So
this is the one we looked at on East Shore
Lake Hayward,
Drive.
yep. And like I said, the roof pitches in all 4 directions the way it's constructed, so. He's got the gutter lined up so it goes all to that rain garden. He's provided a planting plan for the rain garden, but he said he hasn't had enough time to talk to the client as to a buffer planting along the shoreline.
Where, I'm sorry, where's the rain garden? To the west? I'm not seeing it.
To the south,
Oh, okay.
right inside where the wetland patch is there.
Yeah, proposed rain garden. Okay, thank you.
This is a real tight lot.
See this leach field's on the other side of the road?
Now, it's currently a 2 and they're gonna put in a 2, correct? This is the remove and replace structure, correct?
Yes,
And they're gonna remove a 2 and replace it with a 2. Bedroom.
Okay,
Sorry.
yes, yeah, yeah. The only real difference is that it also coming with a 2-car garage.
Okay.
You know, that's the bigger footprint addition to it, and that goes towards the road.
Did you get any more information about that shed, which is actually blocking?
Yeah,
The
he also was gonna talk, I talked to him about that right after the field inspection, he said he was gonna discuss that with them also. He said they have it on there, he goes, I don't understand why, he said, I will figure that out. I said, at the bare minimum, it's probably ready to go down anyways, and at the worst case scenario, put something that lifts it up and gets it off the ground, and he said, I agree.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's probably like acting like a dam
And it's
to the wetland above it.
probably rotted from one end to the other at the bottom.
Now,
So-
is somebody gonna attend the next meeting?
Yes.
Have questions?
Yep.
What is the inland wetland to be relocated?
He's putting the rain garden here. We went out there, it's really partially lawn and a few trees. It doesn't have the appearance of wetlands, but when Rich started augering it, it showed up as.
Oh.
But they need to, you know, with all the increased square footage, I said you need to find somewhere to compensate with the rainwater. And that seemed like the obvious place when they take away the stream on one side and the septic tank on the lake side. So they decided to do it to the left of the structure.
There's probably flow going underneath that shed now, and if they increase
is.
this whole area with the rain garden, they're just gonna enlarge the size of that anyway, so they might as well get the shed. If they don't get the shed out of there, it's gonna rot anyway, so.
Yeah, well, it's halfway there, you should.
I'm noticing there's a pretty extensive silt fence here, and which is a good thing, because of that brook that's on the,
Yep.
let's see, that would be the north side? I
North
think.
side, yep.
So, anyway, probably have some questions for him.
Yep, he planned on being here.
All right.
I'll make a motion to continue this to our next meeting. Motion and second, all in favor of the motion, say aye. Aye. Opposed, say no. Item H, W 24-08, 84 Shore Road. William Robita is the applicant and property owner, map 067, lot 021. Proposed installation of a stone through the shoreline. So this was another one we haven't, right?
Correct.
So what body of water, I should know, just from the address? the
Ludus
shore?
Reservoir, the upper.
Okay, because I'm not seeing, yeah, should have got to put it on here. All right.
No, she didn't.
Where is this in relation to the places we've already been to?
So if we, you know where the boat launch is,
Yeah,
instead of taking a right to Ed's, take a left
okay.
and go to the end. And if you kept going around, well, see that square right there? That's the cemetery. Where my finger is?
Cemetery's up here.
Yep, okay. Guess we'll see what this is in the field when we do a field walk.
It says
You're
John
here.
on here. It says
Mr.
proposed-
Rabita's here. Maybe you could explain it because he can't be
Okay.
here next meeting.
Yes, good evening. I'm going to be working out of state the next meeting, so I'd like to
Oh, good, okay.
So essentially, since the lake has been down, walk the shoreline, we've got quite a bit of erosion where waves have been taking their toll. So I'd like to install granite stone just as a barrier, just to prevent future erosion. And also drawn in there a proposed 12-foot by 40-foot wide beach area. So we've got a lower 12 by 12 deck. It's a very steep approach to the water. It's actually got a ladder off of it. Like say you were gonna go swimming, you'd actually have to climb down about 6 steps. We've got a grandchild that my wife watches, and just looking to do a beach with nice, easy approach into the water.
So, so all of these things are what you want to do?
Yes,
Is the dock existing or proposed?
existing. There, I have 2 docks
Okay.
that are they're both portable. Pull them out for the winter.
So the docks and the deck are already there.
Correct.
So the beach is what's proposed,
Yes.
and adding stone.
Yes, and adding stone to the shoreline.
Got it.
How much of the shoreline are you, because I'm not seeing it marked on the,
Yeah, I apologize, I didn't mark it. I want to do the majority, if, like property line to property line. I'm not going to be doing a formal wall,
do you know, just off the top of your head?
probably 150 feet.
This is, so we talked about, this is the hand laid
Yes.
stuffing, sort of like the one we did off of Bashan Lake Road, where he brought stone and he was stuffing it underneath the root masses and the overhang that's being cut. So this is different. This is, hand laid,
Is there any?
adding to the existing stone and all that, but
Okay, so there is something there now, you're just kind of reinforcing what's there?
Yes, I mean, it's kind of a hodgepodge. I mean, there's some aluminum stakes, there's some chicken wire. The previous owners have tried to do whatever they could, and there's nothing formal and nothing that's very efficient.
So, on the application, at least what we've seen here, you're just talking about the proposed installation of stone, but then I'm seeing proposed beach area 12 feet by 40 feet. Can you describe to me what that means? What
Yeah, so it's actually looking to, on the south side of that 12 by 12 deck, extend down 40 feet by 12 feet wide, just lowering the property area, doing like a stone wall, making like a beach. So like kind of a step down to the water. So have a step down to the beach area, and then you can just walk
Okay,
gradually. into the
all right, because I always have to ask the question. You're not bringing sand in
No.
and depositing it in the lake. You're actually
Correct.
building it back
Correct.
into, yeah, okay. All right, thank you.
So the land area on the parcel map versus the aerial, so on that, are you just talking about the cleared area or the vegetated area? Like, will you go around the northern,
Just a clear area.
just the cleared area, okay?
and we have to schedule a field walk.
Yeah, that'll be helpful. So you said you're gonna put together a sketch? That's
Yes, I can put
A
together.
little more detail on
Yes,
it.
absolutely.
That'll be helpful for the field walk when we go out.
Sure.
Anything else?
No, just in addition to the sketch, kind of detail of, we can see what's there, but what you kind of propose to do
Sure.
to improve it. So we have a good idea of whether you're hand laying things, you're gonna use concrete, you're not gonna use concrete, you're gonna use interlocking blocks, you're not gonna use just regular stone, so
Yeah, it's just
questions
gonna
like
be
that.
regular granite stone. I can box that.
Okay, thank you.
Dan, anything? No. All right, I'll make a motion to continue this for a field walk.
All right, thank you.
And
Second.
thank you to our next meeting.
I'll second.
Any further discussion? If not, all in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Seven, subdivision review, Hemlock Valley Road. Property owners are Paul and Lisa Newton. Map 002, lot 043, and this is a proposed subdivision.
I'll just lay out the big map. probably the easiest subdivision review we've ever had. There's an existing barn in an open field. And they're proposing to split the main house off from the barn lot. There's no wetlands on the soil. I took a look at the subdivision to the, let's see, it'd be to the east, which we have a map, and the wetlands are off the property. So it's basically a report to the Planning and Zoning Commission that we've inspected the site and it's not in conflict with the wetlands regulations.
Over here, this is where the
Barn is, and they're just chopping this off.
yeah,
For the wetlands away over here. Yeah, all right, that's fine.
and
You
it's
get that
flat,
from-
there's really not much to.
It looks from the topo, it looks like it's pretty much almost completely flat.
Yeah, it was.
Okay, simple.
You good, Dan?
Yeah, yeah.
We can't do that until,
No, you can, cause it's
oh, it's
it's
just
not
a
a
letter,
permit.
so, all right, well then I make a motion, we send a letter to planning and zoning that the 42 Hemlock Road, Valley Road property, meets the requirements of the Wetlands Commission, map 002, lot 43. In accordance with the plan dated, what you got there?
Yeah.
1/10/24. I'll second.
Okay,
Second?
you second, all right.
Yeah.
We have a motion and a second to send a letter to P and Z. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. All right, good on that. Brings us to enforcement officer's report.
Well, first we got the proposed forestry regulations and seeing that we're working with half the commission, my recommendation is continue it.
Yeah, that's good. Good idea.
Did I miss something? Did those get sent to us? Was it November? I thought I remember seeing it a while ago.
Yeah.
Been a while. I have them kicking around my house, so that's why I know.
Yeah, I thought I remember seeing it, but not recently, so thank you.
Well, just in case?
Yeah, that's fine. if you got a
You
copy.
know,
I don't
yeah.
know what happened to my November stuff, so.
I know how that goes. You'll find it.
Next
August.
December.
Second is, on there is storm damage to town roads, and the one I wanted to bring up is BB Road.
Near and dear to both of our hearts.
Yeah.
By the way, so blue ribbons out there, I don't know who put them up or for what reason.
No idea. No.
Okay.
But I did talk to Michelle last week, and she had Nate Jacobson Associates out there. They did a stormwater calculation, and right now there's two 30-inch pipes, and based upon the engineering, it requires 30. Three 30s to push the water through without it overtopping the road on some of the major storms. The existing pipes need some realignment because I guess they're lifted up a bit. So that needs to be worked on. The sides of the roadways need to be pulled back and armored.
Excuse me, lifted up on what side?
I assumed from the discussion was on the upstream side.
Because if they're gonna lower those,
Yeah.
there'll be no water in that
Pond? Okay.
pond. So they need to take that into consideration.
Yep. And then they wanted to armor, the sides with riprap so it doesn't slump and the silts and the fines don't get it, but keep the original, the road base. The other part they wanted to do is remove the sediment that dumped into the reservoir while the reservoir's down. And they wanted to put at least one beaver deceiver in it so that when he does decide to clog things up, that at least one of them, which I'm not sure why just one, but, that it would continue to pass water and they'd have to deal with it.
Well,
I don't know why did they
closer
put,
to my end, they only have one on the upstream side, and that one seems to do okay. So I would assume they're gonna do the same thing on the upstream.
but, if they clog two and then it floods, we're back to one pipe again.
Yeah.
Yeah, the one,
Oh, I'm sorry. You didn't mean they were gonna put it only on one side. You mean they're gonna put it on
One
one.
pipe, that's what she
I
relayed to me, and
misunderstood. Okay.
I'm kind of the,
Interesting. I wonder why they're only picking one pipe.
The one that you're talking about, Brian, is, I don't think the watershed is anywhere near the size.
No, but my
That's
point
the
was
one
it
on the
works,
old Warnocky property that crosses.
Yeah.
it works on one side, and that's what I thought you were saying, they're only gonna do one side. I get it. Yeah, that doesn't make any sense that they only do one pipe, but, okay.
So, will we see, is Jacobson putting a plan together?
They didn't plan on putting a plan together because right now they're also working on Sheepskin Hollow, which failed. And every inch of rain, they have to go out and look at it. They're also looking at what failed on AP Gates Road. But they are gonna supervise it, so they're out there, watching it.
You don't have any sense of when any kind of work is gonna be done at this point. And the reason I'm asking the question is I think it would be good for the Wetlands Commission to do a field walk on both the sites, the big concern on Sheepskin Hollow and also on BB Road.
So Sheepskin Hollow is way down the road because well, first they tried to get one of those metal Army Corps bridges to lay right over the top so they could go from point A to point B and not worry about it for a while. But there's been so many emergencies in the United States that they're all gone. So they're still searching for stuff. The problem is there's 2 houses north of that and you can't get there from here once you start working on it. And they also want to get funds out of that from the state and put together a complete plan. There's a plan that I found from the 1980s that we called for 4 8-foot pipes. There's only 2 there. So they're working through that issue right now to find out what actually needs to be there. And they're also thinking that the easiest way is a larger box culvert, concrete that can be put in place, or a series of box culvert depending on what the engineering comes with. So because you can't get there from here, they're working on that as far as plans, because those people, if it's determined that it's unusable, then they're stuck.
When you say Jacobson doesn't have it on the schedule to do a plan, does that mean at all, or just right now in the near future, there's no plan?
For BB? Well, the problem with BB is that right now the water's down. So that's not gonna be forever. In fact, Ed mentioned to me that the water stopped flowing, and he may be right. It may be coming back up now, so.
I'm just wondering if they're gonna, the concept that you described, they've done 100 times in this town, so I'm comfortable. But I think sending them the ragtag with just kind of verbal is dangerous.
Well,
Something
I
to
mean,
get an idea of what they're doing would be valuable to see.
so let me see what I can get out of them, but, the fact of the matter is the reservoir, I think, may be filling back up, so that's the concern also.
Yeah, the question, and my concern too, and it kind of goes along with Brian, is there's nobody in Public Works that's an engineer.
That's why, yeah, that's
They're
why
gonna
Jacobson's gonna be there.
Setting all the 2 pipes plus a
Yeah.
new one.
Yeah.
It's gotta be set properly, and there's
Yeah.
considerations that have to be thought of, before the work is,
Yeah.
they start laying material over top.
Yeah.
And plus, they need to think very hard about the material that's gonna go on there, because they're putting, and I think Rich Pettinelli pointed it out way back when Rob Smith was a selectman, and we did a field walk out there.
Yep.
So if you remember that, and the first thing he said is, there's too many fines in the material they're laying down.
Fines, you said?
Fines,
Yeah,
fines. It should be a coarser material. So they need to think about lots of things. There's a lot of erosion that's taken, and this is typical of a lot of the public works projects anywhere around the stream. And they're not taking into consideration the problem of erosion. And they may, on this project, on BB Road project, actually have to put some sort of a settling basin that they're gonna be able to clean out, so just the material that comes down the road from the paved portion is creating a plume in the reservoir.
Yeah.
So,
That is
anyway.
right at the bottom of the paved portion too, so everything that comes down that paved portion settles out there. That's the lowest section right after the
Right,
paved portion.
Right. And they're gonna have to maintain the width according to the scenic road ordinance.
Well, that's why they said they had to pull it back,
Yeah.
because it flattens out and it gets wider and wider.
So would you mind,
Yeah, no,
do
I'll
a field,
relay it
so
up.
the rest of the
Yeah.
commission can see what the situation
Yeah.
is there?
Okay.
I don't think they're gonna get either one of these, what you said, Sheepskin Hollow, a long time, but BB Road.
they gotta do that soon. That's all there is to it.
It's either the next couple months or in August.
No, cause even August, then the lake's back up.
Doesn't come down, doesn't it come
Doesn't.
down in August, September though, at the, oh.
No, it's what, 2 feet down now, 2.5. Now's the time to do it, while it's, water's out. Makes construction a lot easier and, you know, otherwise you're driving piling and everything else, and nobody wants to drive piling to keep the water away from it.
So am I getting the sense from you, when you say now, it's like, could be any day?
No, like, I need to, you know, tell them to figure this out, and, you know, basically, they need to, and I already said this, they have to have an engineer assigned to the project while it's under construction.
Okay.
Yeah.
That would be a big help.
Yeah, so let me straighten that out and I'll get back to everybody and we'll find a date to look at it. I mean, there's almost enough light after work, so we'll see.
Okay. Yeah, there, people still can't read the signs that says road closed.
No, they're coming down and it's spinning around and, yeah.
All right, anything else you have?
No.
All right, motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Thank you, everybody, for coming.
Runs out in 10 years.
Oh, does it? Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, so you got plenty of time.
Nothing doing here.
Has he submitted any applications or any?
Randy, are we up here?
No, he was gonna clear it, then test bid it and have his engineer work on it.
Work on a plan.
Oh, no, not yet. Yeah.
Work on something to submit.
See my deck?
Yeah.
Neptune was washed out,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
It was way cut down.